Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Gridiron Gals podcast. I'm your girl, Reeta, the NFL chick.
And hey, everybody, it's Chels, aka Chelsea's Right.
And we are back. Preseason week 2 has been officially in the books, and we only have one preseason game left, Chels, as we know that they got rid of the fourth preseason game and added a game at the end of the regular season. So, of course, the big talk of the sports media world has been the Ravens' 24-game preseason streak is now officially dead, to the game on Monday night against the Washington Commanders, which felt very much like a regular season game. But
It did.
It's so much talk about this streak. Um, Harbaugh went on his soapbox to talk about this streak. He basically told people like myself who do not care about the wins and losses of preseason that he doesn't respect you if you don't see the point in preseason and all of this other stuff, beating his chest, yada yada yada, whatever. But do you care about this win streak? I just told you I don't care, and I am a Ravens fan. I do not care about the win streak. Do you?
Well,
Do you
first
think
of
that that's
all,
something that's important? Basically,
no, I didn't even know about it until last week. That's not something that I kept track of. I didn't know. And I was like, 24 games. And then it sounded so odd because, I mean, that's like 6 years or something like that. I was like, that's
I
a
think
lot.
since
But
2015. Yeah.
clearly it meant a lot to the Commanders fans. And I understand that they have to hold on to whatever they feel like they can hold on to. And baby, they held on tight last night. And the talk about the game, of course, I mean, everybody is ready for football season to start. So I see why they talked it up so much and tried to make it like it felt like a real live Monday night football game. Josh, what's his man's name? Josh, somebody, the
That's
owner, Josh.
Oh, Josh Harris. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a
He
little
was drunk.
saucy.
He was little drunk in the booth.
A little saucy up there.
I'm
Yeah.
not all the way sure if he wasn't the only one drinking. I'm not all the way sure because Joe Buck was letting a lot fly last night. But like, I was into it. And I was like, damn, that felt like Monday night. And then I was like, I'm so upset with y'all from y'all making me think that this is a real game. Why would y'all make me be invested in August? That's
Right.
that's just dumb to me. So no, I didn't care. But then the command, y'all are so annoying. Facebook, I was like, are they gonna have a parade? Like, what's happening right now? It's a preseason game. It does not count. It is a moral. I don't even know if we would call it a moral victory or whatever. It's dumb. I'm glad it's over, and I would like to move on. But it's funny how what it say. I find it real funny that Redskins fans or Commanders fans don't mind celebrating ridiculous things. But boy, let the Cowboys celebrate one thing. Let the Cowboys find joy in everything. And here they come, But here y'all go on a preseason game celebrating, about to have a parade down East Capitol Street or whatever. Y'all look dumb last night.
Look, if they like it, I love it, right? I ain't here to steal nobody's joy. If that made you feel
I
good,
am.
if it made you feel good about yourself, then good for you. I did think it was a little corny, Magic Johnson getting involved in it. And, this game doesn't matter. Do I think that preseason has a place? Absolutely. I think that preseason, matters for guys that are trying to make the roster, for guys that are trying to implement, coaches that are implementing, schemes and such. But there was nothing I could really gain from last night. Like I saw some Commanders fans was like, oh, they acting, Ravens acting like they're not pressed or whatever about this streak, but they out there calling all out blitzes. Well, the same could be said for your side, who played first stringers for a whole half against second and third stringers, or
Well,
on both sides, especially on offense. I think defense, they did start taking guys out in the second quarter, but on offense, that was their first string offense. And the Ravens only had Jabo out there who they would presume to be a starter because the Jabo needs reps because, he didn't get a lot of playtime last year from coming back from an Achilles injury. Nobody else, and maybe Travis Jones, potentially he's a second-year player. Nobody else on that team on the starting defense was out there. And so y'all played a whole half of ball with your starters. I'm just not really sure how I'm supposed to feel about any of this. Lamar didn't play. Odell didn't play. Roquan didn't play. They got Jadeveon Clowney. He didn't play. Mark Andrews didn't play. I mean, like, what am I supposed to do with this? I'm actually glad that the streak is over because I'm tired of talking about it because it doesn't have any importance in terms of wins and losses on the scoreboard. But again, I'm not mad that y'all are happy about it. I just think it was a little bit of an overkill and it was a little bit of corniness. And then it was like the Ravens fans were being annoying for responding to it. Let them have that day, dog. I mean, it's just a preseason game. It means nothing in terms of what it is going to do to your schedule and your real schedule. So just move along, man. It's just very weird. This whole thing has been weird. And I'm over it. So basically,
Yeah,
what I'm say to
yeah. I don't have anything else to add. I'll be honest.
that. So it is what it is. Speaking of which, speaking of somebody else who might be over it, I'm curious to know what the San Francisco 49ers are going to do with Trey Lance. He hasn't been the best in action. And there's been some talk that Sam Darnold, who they picked up this past offseason, has had a better preseason than Trey Lance, who really hasn't had an opportunity to play. We know that he had gotten injured, and so he missed the year due to his injury. We know that Brock Purdy came in and is now the starter or projected to be the starter. So you spend this expensive pick on Trey Lance a couple of years ago in the draft, same draft that Zach Wilson came out of, ironically. And now you're kind of stuck with what you need to do with Trey Lance. So if you're the 49ers, what do you do?
How stuck are they? I mean, we might have to go to the trade table.
But who wants? I mean, like, who's going to trade for him?
I don't know. I mean, do you shelve him again?
Well, Brock Purdy took them to an NFC championship. Are you suggesting? Are you asking?
No,
like,
no. You
okay.
no. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You don't want. I mean, he's not starting. Put that away because you cannot bench Brock Purdy after what he did last year, and he's had a good camp. So you can't do that. And I mean, this is one of the unfortunate things about football when you go out with an injury. Not only do you have to focus on your healing, but you have to focus on what the person that stepped in for you is doing. I mean, we see that happen quite often. That is how we got Tom Brady. Okay.
Yep.
So, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if you can trade him. I don't know what you can do. I don't know if he wants to sit there. Does he, is there someone he can learn from? Can he learn something from Sam Darnold? I don't know what to do. I was very surprised to hear it. But I'm also kind of disappointed, when they play up players, they played up Trey Lance a whole lot, and we really didn't get to see any of that. He was played up just like Justin Fields was played up, and we've seen Justin Fields. We already know, and we already know why he was getting hurt because they won't protecting him. But when he can get loose, he can get loose. I mean, you don't have no issue with him. You got no issue with him. But like, we really don't even know. Like, we can't even say, oh, Trey Lance is, but we don't know if he's a bust. We don't know.
So this is an interesting thing, right? He was only drafted 2 years ago in 2021. So he's entering his third season. Okay. He was taken third overall, more than likely too high, came from North or South Dakota State. And this is, to me, the Josh Allen effect, where these guys are coming from these smaller programs or programs that are D1, but not like Power 5 conferences. And people think that they can do something or they can make something of a guy. Yes, that happened with Josh Allen, but it doesn't necessarily mean it can happen for everybody, right? It also doesn't mean that he can't be a good pro player. It could very well possibly be meaning that he's just not as quick to be the pro player you want him to be as you like. You know what I'm saying? Since he's only entering his third season and he missed a season. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So
Mhm.
technically, from time spent, he's only going to be a sophomore when
Right.
this season starts. So
Yeah.
there's that. I think the bigger issue is we give Kyle Shanahan all of these accolades about what he can do with guys, and maybe we are overselling Kyle Shanahan and what he can do. Now, I'm not saying that Brock Purdy is not a good example, but Brock Purdy is a guy he was told what to do, right?
Right.
He has
Mm.
had elaborate weapons around him that literally has put him in a very hard position to lose. And Brock Purdy has delivered. Some people are just good with being told what to do, right? And Brock Purdy
Yeah.
is probably one of those people. That
Right.
and Brock Purdy also comes from a Power 5 conference, right? So his level of play has been a little bit more elevated than one of Trey Lance, right? But what does it say about you, Kyle Shanahan, that you can't take this young kid that you supposed to be this guy that can make quarterbacks do all of these things, and yet Trey Lance is here, and as of right now, it doesn't look like you've gotten Trey Lance to be anything you thought that you could make him be.
So I think we have to stop thinking about these quarterback whisperers as making something out of nothing. That's not what you're doing. You're taking an an extreme talent, although it may be a raw talent, and you're molding it and you're making into something that is a franchise quarterback. But
Yeah.
you're not taking something from nothing. You ain't in the lab with some sand and some water making a quarterback. So I think, like, and that point is to support your point, is that maybe we are giving them a lot more credit. You have him,
Mhm.
you have the Lincoln Riley is the quarterback whisperer and all of that kind of stuff. Like, maybe they ain't got to whisper that much. These guys are already talented. They already have the knack. You just maybe have to find a missing piece or put the pieces that can be around him. So, um, and that will also, how good Kyle Shanahan is, we will see that if depending on what they decide to do with him. Do you keep him another year? Because I mean, like you said, technically 1 year, because 1 year he was hurt, 1 year, here's the second year or whatever. What are you going to talk to him about? What are you going to work on? Who are you going to pair with him to bring him to the level that you want him to be? You got lucky with Brock Purdy. You
Yep.
got real lucky.
Yep. And you
If he
traded for
goes,
Christian McCaffrey in the process. Like, let's not forget you added weapons for Brock Purdy. Like, that's
you
something
got
Trey Lance didn't have.
did not
And
have.
also Trey Lance is not playing with those guys in preseason. That's another thing. He's playing with some random other dudes in preseason. So there's
Yeah,
that part too.
he ain't
Right?
got Debo.
Right.
Debo is significant. Yeah.
So
So I don't know. I was kind of sad about it. I really want to see him, and I really hope he does well. It would be a tough break to be out of there, because you got hurt and you really never got to really show everybody what you got.
yeah, I agree. So look, as of right now, it looks like Brock Purdy is going to be the starter. Again, they got Sam Darnold out there. I mean, so the rules have changed where you can have a third quarterback, but it doesn't necessarily mean that teams are going to have a third quarterback. So the
But that's
49ers are going to be in an interesting position as we get down to the 53-man roster coming next week. Be interesting. All right, Jonathan Taylor. He wants out. We know that. He is not
Mhm.
happy about not getting enough money in Indianapolis, as all the running backs are not happy right now with their situation.
Right.
So Jim Irsay has gone from, we're not trading Jonathan Taylor, what do you mean, to, yeah, okay, well, we might trade Jonathan Taylor for a first round pick or some picks equivalent to a first round. So
Mhm.
to me, that's saying I'm not trading Jonathan Taylor, because nobody's going to give a first rounder for Jonathan Taylor.
Mm-mm.
unless you want to lose your job as a GM in the National Football League. So if you're Jonathan Taylor, what is it that you're going to do? He's already been excused from the team, for personal reasons. So he's not been showing up at camp. You're already in a position where, you can get trade. We'll let you go ahead and seek a trade, but knowing no one's going to take the offer that you are looking for Jonathan Taylor. What do you do if you're Jonathan Taylor?
Now, I might have heard this wrong, but I thought that he traveled with the team for that last preseason game.
He might have, but he was excused prior to
Okay.
the week. He was excused from practice for personal
Okay.
reasons, so he
Okay.
was not there at minimum last week. He was not there
Okay.
during the
Okay.
week.
Okay.
During the
But
week.
either way, I just wanted to clear because I didn't know if I heard something wrong, but they're playing games with him and it's ugly.
Yeah.
That's ugly. That's an ugly thing to do to somebody, to oversell them intentionally in order to make them look bad, almost to be like, see, we told you that nobody wanted you. That's very, very ugly and nasty.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's the only thing. And honestly, I don't know what he can do because he is not in the position of power in this situation. He does not have the leeway. And he doesn't have the leeway. And well, I mean, if Saquon Barkley ain't have the leeway, you don't have the leeway. And I think it's ugly what they're doing to him.
Unfortunately, like you said, he doesn't have the leverage. No running back has the leverage right now in the National Football League. None of them. So Jonathan Taylor is just in a company of many in his position of really not going to be able to get what they want because they're not valued the way that they believe that they should be valued. Even if he did go somewhere else, who is going to pay you the money you feel like you deserve? That's the question that I think that I have. Like, what team do you feel like will value you somewhere close or equal to what you believe you are worth to that team? And I don't know a team right now that can do that. Again, like you mentioned, we already saw what they did to Saquon. So, and Saquon is essentially just giving some bells and whistles for the same franchise.
Oh, he took a very team-friendly deal.
I mean, it was team-friendly in the sense of it was still the same amount of franchise tag. Like I said, with some bells and whistles of incentives, and they still get to tag him for 2 years if they choose to. He got no leverage out of that.
And the incentives are, if you look at his season last year, he might not even hit those incentives.
I mean, like last year was a good year for him. Last year was a good year for him because he was playing majority of the season. The previous years, he's not been there. So I don't know what Jonathan Taylor can do. I don't know if this is like a Chris Jones situation where allegedly he's saying in Kansas City, he wants a new contract and he's saying he's willing to sit out until week 8 to play. If you got that kind of money, if you got some endorsement money that's coming in, maybe that can help you pay for your bills up until that point. But as of right now, you are stuck between a rock and a hard place. I don't know what you do if you're Jonathan Taylor.
And even when you take that extreme of a liberty with your fate, and people have done it, we saw it with Le'Veon Bell. And where's Le'Veon Bell?
Yep. And look, I was riding for Le'Veon Bell. I believe that people should do what's right for them. I also have to acknowledge that it might not be successful. It might not be successful. And it's not because I don't want you to be successful. It's the fact that the people that are in charge are the people that are in charge. And they don't have to conform to anything that they don't want to. They don't have to be forced. From a morality perspective, should they pay guys like Saquon more, who has done absolutely a whole lot for Daniel Jones? Yes. They don't have to do shit, though. That's the problem. And they're not going to do any more than what they already have to do, because they want to keep as much coin in their pocket as they absolutely can. So I just don't know what Jonathan Taylor is going to do. He's another guy that's had some injuries and hasn't been healthy. So that's another knock on him right there.
And teams will use you to make a point to everyone else in the league.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That happens. And listen, You got one of the worst owners in the NFL in Jim Irsay.
Ooh. I mean, that's why I found it was so ironic that he was so vocally in opposition of Dan Snyder. I was like, y'all are two sides of the same coin. Y'all, it's just that Dan Snyder is not a cokehead.
Do we not? We don't, allegedly not a cokehead.
Allegedly.
We don't know anything about that man to know. With all the allegations that was out about him, I would not be surprised if there was some alleged drug activity going on over there. But it is what it is. So yeah, good luck to you, Jonathan Taylor. Power to the people. We behind you, but we don't see nothing happening for you, brother.
No Roger, no rerun, no rent. I told y'all how old I was just now.
Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Oh my God.
My bad. I messed you up.
I'm sorry. You lost me there. Oh my God. Look, there's some drama that folds on the NFL, on the field with Jonathan Taylor, Trey Lance, and then there's stuff that happens off the field with the NFL. And so in this case, Eli Apple, who we love to hate around here, especially if you're from Baltimore or Pittsburgh, or Cleveland, or New Orleans. He got a long list of people that we just don't.
He got many friends out here.
As you know, now he's a Miami Dolphin. As a result of our good guy, Jalen.
Jalen Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey. Look, I said, what's Jalen's last name? Jalen Ramsey getting injured in during training camp. So they signed Eli Apple as a result. And apparently somebody wants Eli Apple to get hurt. So allegedly it's this lady named Destiny. Now, the Destiny she's what they proclaim to be a WAG baby mama. She has children by Geno Smith and Josh Jacobs already.
Geno, come on, Geno.
Geno, I ain't calling back Smith. And Josh, I ain't showing up Jacobs.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, because what is a WAG?
That's what the wives be called. The wives and the girlfriends of
okay, wives and girlfriends. Okay.
Yes, there it is. Boom. WAG, wives and girlfriends of the athletes, right? So she is like, I guess she's like an embedded WAG because she has 2 children by 2 different NFL players, but she allegedly is pregnant with her 3rd NFLer in Eli Apple. So she's allegedly pregnant by Eli Apple, and which Eli Apple is basically, he doesn't give a fuck. Okay. According to BSO, she has posted and he has screenshots of her story that she tried to put in her close friends. And see, this is the problem, y'all. Y'all be putting stuff in close friends and people be selling your shit. Okay, these people are not to be trusted. Okay, you thought that you could trust this person.
Not when you're dealing with high-profile people.
Thank you.
Because all it takes is one of your friends to show one of their friends, and then ching, ching, ching.
Yep. So all she screenshot. Somebody screenshot it, sent to somebody who sent it to BSO, and so she is posting things about how she got pregnant. And he told her he has a sex problem, that she is the 6th pregnant woman in 3 years, and that the other ones had abortions, but she was not going to get an abortion, and so the child was born early, it appears, and that she needed the child needed a blood transfusion. He had the blood type. She was not a match, but he was the match. He ain't wanting to give the child no blood. He doesn't want to give the child money, obviously. And every time she says something to him about like being a father or taking care of a father, or maybe I should just I feel worthless, and what if we died? He's just like, well, what do you want me to say to that? Like, he is just so disrespectful. So as a result, she posted pictures of him. This is how we know this is Eli Apple, because she posted pictures of Eli Apple, and she put his name, his number on there in the close friends, and said, number 33, I'll gladly Zell any fines. If you play against my baby dad this season, go for the knees, maybe a hammy. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of wide receivers, tight ends out there that would be interested in
And could
said,
do it very easily.
in said offer. He has made a lot of enemies over
Oh
time. So
yeah.
apparently,
Oh yeah.
he ain't good with the dudes. He ain't good with the chicks. Who likes Eli Apple outside his mama, Annie Apple, at this point?
Girl, Eli Apple, you looked at him, you was dead ass. When he jumped in your DMs, you said, got him. Eli Apple. You thought that was a good take, knowing how intrusive his mother is.
Brings up his mother, talking about, you and your mama, she panders this domestic violence movement and all this other stuff, and she is basically, she called the mother basically an enabler of his actions,
Well,
which I think we can all
oh yeah, we already know that. But also, his mother has other children that she don't fool with. So what did you think was going to happen here? For them, they are their own world. Them two, Annie and Eli. There are other children. She has children younger than him. She do not fool with them. I don't know what the latest is, but I know the last thing we all read about, and that's miraculous how that kind of goes away. But like, what do you think is happening here? It's easy to find this out, and you know that he's an extreme mama's boy. How do you think them all them abortions happen? You think I don't think he's smart enough to facilitate all of that. That's her doing. She made sure, oh no, you ain't getting our money. Abortion. They probably got non-disclosures, and it's probably did follow the money. Probably wrote checks and got non-disclosures and all of that kind of stuff, because that's the only time you're going to make something like that go away, if someone is pregnant by an NFL player. That's the only thing you're going to let something like that go away.
She's saying that she had this child and that he don't
when the
give
baby
a fuck
was born, and the baby born at 25 weeks.
Yes.
Those are $1 million babies. They stay in the NICU for a very long time. They can have significant developmental delays ongoing. You know, it is very, 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 very dangerous to have a baby that early. They can survive, but to what end? And what can be the result? But so that part is very sad. And needing the cord blood, that probably happened in utero, and that may have prevented something from happening a little bit later on, like being born too early. So he's a rotten person.
Yes, he's a piece of shit. Like,
he's a rotten person.
If this is true, okay, because we have to always put disclaimers out here, right? We're only getting one side of the story. Yeah. But if this is true, and he is the father, and these text messages that she screenshot and all of these things that she's saying is true, he is a piece of fucking shit.
And guess what else? It tracks.
It absolutely tracks. It absolutely tracks.
Because, I don't care about shit. You talking about shit talking. That shit talking that he does, yo, I'm surprised somebody ain't just walked up and punched him in the face. Absolutely. Punched him in the face. So it absolutely tracks. I'm not at all surprised that he said, well, what you want me to do with this information? Well, what you want to do? And if they were, it seemed like, some of the pictures, like they were actually like going out and like,
yes, they were on boats and
they was on boats. They having the paint nights and stuff. Like, that's somebody you're dating. That's somebody you're dating. You've had intimate conversations with. You traveled with this person, and now that this person is having a baby and is the seventh one and has decided that they are going to keep the baby. And women who have already had babies can sometimes be more fertile, Eli.
Because she has two other children.
She has two other children. And
Like,
you know who the fathers of those two children are.
Oh, which they don't matter. They don't give a shit. So.
No, that don't matter. Well, it doesn't matter, but you're still having unprotected sex, ding dong. I mean, what you thought was gonna happen? You got to pay the piper on this one. So now it's gonna get ugly, and now you're going to court.
I just feel like we need more Andre Johnsons out here in this league. We need more people that's willing to beat somebody's ass. Okay, it ain't enough Andre Johnsons out here. You know what I mean? Or enough AJ Greens, because AJ Green body slammed Jalen Ramsey that time. I did not forget that one.
Oh yeah,
ain't enough Andre Johnsons and AJ Greens out here. Hey, somebody needs to put it on his ass.
I watched Andre Johnson beat Cortland Finnegan tail on that field. I might have watched it 35 times.
I know I've watched it 100 times.
I could not stop. And look, Cortland Finnegan. Boy, what you clapping for? You just got your ass beat.
Exactly. I mean, he uppercutted your ass. Okay, somebody needs to uppercut Mr. Eli Apple. Okay, so even though she wrong for putting that out there, I can't say I don't understand. That's all I'm saying. She wrong.
And also, I mean, but you know what I want? I need her. I would like for her to, the anger and the emotion that's coming out right now. And she's probably very scared, especially if, it is scary. It's scary if this is your first baby. But if you've had two other children and your pregnancy and delivery and everything was very, very normal, typical, and then this happens, you have two small children at home. I mean, the NICU is all... You got to be with this baby all day long. You're afraid to leave them. It is super critical, like minute to minute stuff when the baby is in the NICU, especially when they're born so early. Girl, just and it sounds, I'm an outsider, but like you got to go in the NICU and focus on your child
right now. Get with him, I agree. You can deal with that.
He's going to get wherever. Listen, whether he gets it from you or whether he gets it on the field. And from what I hear, he ain't doing too good down there in Miami anyway.
I wonder if he even can make it, quite frankly.
He might not even make the team. So you gotta focus on that. And and I want to say, I'm very careful about, girl, leave these NFL players alone, please.
Okay. Just leave them alone, honey. Enough. Leave them alone.
3 times 3. Nobody's with you. Enough.
Leave them alone. Before we go to college football talk, we want to give our condolences to the family of Caleb Crawley, the Titans defensive back. He lost his father in a massive home explosion. And, I can't imagine it was his home.
Yeah.
That exploded. So I can't even imagine what he's going through right now in the middle of training camp, losing his father in such a horrendous situation that he lost them. So we want to extend our condolences to the families of Caleb Crawley as is, due to the death of his dad.
Absolutely. And that was a horrible situation.
Absolutely. So Chels, it is week 0 in college football town. And so starting this Saturday, we will be getting the games. Again, it's week 0, so it's not week 1. So it's only a limited amount of games. A lot of them are D1 games, but nonetheless games, right? You have Navy and Notre Dame playing in Ireland this weekend. That's very interesting. I'm rooting for Navy. As a girl that lives in Maryland, Navy is down the street. A person who loves to hate Notre Dame. I've hated Notre Dame essentially my whole life. I'm looking forward to rooting against them this weekend. I think it should be fun. I hope that I doubt that they win, but if they do, I'm going to definitely taunt all the Notre Dame fans that I know on social media just for the
they are so obnoxious. Y'all are really leaning into this in Ireland. Y'all are really leaning into this whole thing. God, y'all are so annoying. Oh,
very.
Oh,
but
whatever. But I'll be watching something. There's a lot of just play the game.
Other games that's playing this weekend: Hawaii at Vanderbilt. Why is Vanderbilt playing week 0? Is beyond me.
Oh, that's disrespectful.
USC is playing. They're hosting San Jose State, so that should be interesting as well. And then the other games will start Thursday, August the 31st. So, but those are the games that I'm seeing from Power 5 conferences that are playing. You'll also get UTEP Jacksonville State, UMass, North Mexico State, Ohio at San Diego State, which is interesting because we know that San Diego State was thinking about going to the Pac-12 and then said, never mind, y'all ain't got no money, you broke bitches. We gonna stay.
Y'all house ain't clean. Never mind.
Y'all house ain't clean. And Florida International and Louisiana Tech. Those are the full lineup of games that you're going to see this coming weekend on week 0. And speaking of college football, your boy Jim Harbaugh.
Why he gotta be my boy?
I don't know. He might, no. Who the fuck does he think he's fooling? I just want to know, who does Jim Harbaugh thinks he's fooling? So Jim Harbaugh imposed himself a self-discipline. Okay. Was it for some COVID things that he did back in 2020?
And some recruiting stuff.
Right?
Yeah, it was something about he was being a little tricky with some recruiting, and he got caught up, and he said, I'm taking myself to the principal's office.
Yeah. These are the games that he's imposing himself a 3-game suspension. Okay. These are the games that Jim Harbaugh is also going to miss in those first 3 weeks.
Okay.
East Carolina.
Ooh.
UNLV. And Bowling Green.
Oh man, get on out of my.
So who the fuck does Jim
Harbaugh? He ain't want to coach those games anyway.
He is going on an extended vacation. Okay, who the fuck does he think he's fooling? I wouldn't want to be there either, quite frankly. So I am going to impose a self-disciplinary action on myself to get away for 3 weeks too, if it's these 3 games. Hey, in what world is this supposed to be disciplined? I want to know this. And why is Michigan playing in our whole ass faces about allowing this to happen?
And just because you put yourself on punishment, that doesn't mean that the NCAA won't do it when they catch up with your butt. What the NCAA gonna say? Well, since you already gave yourself a 3-game suspension, we'll honor that as ours. Oh, for them, you use 3 weeks of PTO. Yeah.
That's
so ridiculous. It is absurd. It's a waste of my time, Jim Harbaugh. It's a waste of my time.
It is a waste of everybody's time. He is doing nobody a favor. It is embarrassingly funny that's what's going on here. And I can't. I cannot. Okay, with Michigan, get the fuck out of here, dog. Okay, so that's where we stand with the whole Jim Harbaugh's situation. Apparently, they did not have an interim head coach, or they haven't picked an interim head coach as of yet. And not that that means anything, because I just told you the 3 teams that they're going to play. So
get a player coach.
So you want the inmates run the asylum?
Chaos. If we're gonna be foolish, baby, let's be all the way foolish.
Let's get all the way live, baby.
Let's be all the way foolish. Grab a player. Raise your hand if you want to coach the next 3 games. Pick a number from 1 to 10.
This is some bullshit. Get Jim Harbaugh out of here. Listen, before we go, is there anyone that you want to throw into the volcano?
I feel like we talked about everybody that
we did
like throw into the volcano.
There's something I do want to throw in the volcano.
Okay.
I want to throw Swamp Kings in the volcano. Don't watch it. It is a waste of your time.
Swamp Kings. What's it about?
The Florida Gators documentary on Netflix.
Oh, it's
Do
not
not watch.
good.
It is very, very watered down, and I mean 3/4, 7/8 water, 1/8 a splash of tequila, 1/8 a splash of tequila. It is so watered down, and it feels
Wow.
like a redemption press for Urban Meyer.
Oh,
They
okay.
because
Enough. All right.
okay, once I saw
Urban
that
Meyer,
Urban Meyer was
is he
on
an
the
executive
documentary,
producer?
I knew that it wasn't going to be. Once
Yeah.
I saw the previews and I saw that he was on it, I was like, okay, so I know where this is going to go. And I started the third episode and I was like, I'm good. Y'all are not going to give me any of the drama that we need, that we all wanted. I knew that this was going to happen, which is why I hated this idea to begin with. I knew y'all weren't going to give us the arrests. I knew you weren't going to give us the bar fights. I knew you weren't going to give us Percy Harvin being a bully to everybody. I knew you
Yeah.
wasn't going to tell us that Charlie Strong was really the coach of that team and Urban Meyer was just showing up when it was necessary. I knew y'all weren't going to give me the lowdown. And this is why I'm trying to tell everybody, don't watch that shit. It ain't nothing.
Urban Meyer was executive producer.
It felt like it. I don't even know
Boo.
if it's true or not, but it felt like he was
Well,
the executive producer.
since you say that, you throw the documentary into the volcano, and
Yes.
I will throw Urban Meyer into the volcano just because you have gotten on my nerves for the last 10, maybe 15 years. And I have had enough of Urban Myers. I've had enough of the fake headaches. Every time he don't want to coach somebody, all of a sudden
Oh,
he
they
got a
left
brain
that out
tumor.
too. They left that out
Oh,
too.
they left out when he get a brain tumor when he don't want to coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
Mm-hmm.
next thing he'd be like, it was just a migraine.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Left up. Well, in Florida, it was chest pains. It was his
Oh,
heart.
it was chest pains.
So
Okay.
that was Ohio State that you're talking about. At
Oh, Ohio
Florida,
State.
he had chest
Right.
pains, and then that's
Got
when he had a heart condition, and then that's when he sat out for that year as he waited for Jim Tressel to get fired. Because I know
to
he was
get
told ahead
fired.
of time.
Yes.
I know he was told ahead of time that was going down, and they needed him to sit out and act like he was just going to be an analyst. But anyway,
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That was the year he became an analyst. Okay.
mm-hmm. So
Oh,
yeah, it is. They leave all of that out. They leave all the drama out, and they full of shit. And it was exactly what I knew it was going to be because the wrong people, Tim Tebow is on it. The wrong people are on that documentary. So
oh,
if you're a
okay.
college football fan and you just wanted to watch
For
the the
nostalgia.
the years and the
Mhm.
national championships and how they became to be so dominant, it's good in that nature. But from
Mhm.
everything that we knew that happened at Florida, they leave all the drama out. And so in that regard, it's trash. Leave it where it's at.
Okay. Well, there's
Yeah.
that. Well, now we got that Doc and Urban Meyer in the volcano.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Yes. But we will be watching the Bishop Sycamore one, and we're going to talk about it next week on the podcast. So I'm looking forward to that one because that one looks like it's going to be really, really good. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. Yes,
I am
I'm
definitely
excited about that one. And just a reminder, friends, there will be spoilers. So it comes out on August the 23rd on HBO, I think, or Max
yeah.
or whatever the hell it's called now. So you got a week. We're going to spoil it. We're going to
Yep.
talk about everything on it. I cannot wait. I might have to watch it more than once because the first time I watch it, I might just laugh through the whole thing. So, it was the most absurd thing I've ever heard. So, but yeah, we will be spoiling it.
Yeah, sounds like a plan to me, friend. Before we go, do you have any final thoughts?
Yes, I do. Sha'Carri Richardson, girl, that's a running child right there.
Mm-hmm.
I am so proud of her. I was almost in tears when she won that women's 100-meter final. What a turn of events to go from missing the Olympics because of marijuana being found in her system. She lost her mom. And you can do the homework on her and how she grew up and who raised her in the area. She's from Oak Cliff, Texas. Oak Cliff is an area in Dallas. Um, like she has had a rough go of it, and probably hasn't been as kind to herself as she could have been. Probably has some bad seeds around her, but baby girl got that thing together. She got it all together, and
Mm-hmm.
she smoked them people. And I am so proud of her. And whatever is working, I hope she keeps on doing it. I cannot wait to see her in the Olympics next summer. And I thought this should be our first Olympics since the pandemic, because it wasn't in 2020. It was supposed to be in 2022 because they didn't have it in 2020 or something
Right.
like that. But I think they're back on track starting next year. But I'm so proud of Sha'Carri Richardson. I'm proud of her comments that she says she's running for people like her. She's running for people that look like her. Translation, Black girls.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need to see.
Yep.
That's the kind of representation. And now, girl, congratulations, you're a role model. Little Black girls everywhere are looking at you. They are
Yep.
looking at you. And also, like, one of the we lost one of our track stars, Tori Bowie, who was found deceased in her home. She had given birth in her home alone. Very tragic. Something that unfortunately happens to a lot of Black women in this country when it comes to maternal infant health, and maternal health and Black maternal health. Um, but she was one of the last people to win that record. And so I am hoping that Tori Bowie is looking down on Sha'Carri like, yeah, girl, you get that one. So that is my final thought.
I don't have a better final thought than that. So I'm gonna ride on yours. I'm
Come on,
definitely very
baby.
proud of Shikari and her journey. Look, and sometimes she's young, and that was always my concern about the backlash she was getting from some immaturity. At 21 years old, we were all immature, and unfortunately for her, she's in the social media stage of life where we didn't have that. You and myself, when we were being immature and embarrassing, we didn't have social media to amplify those things about us. And so she's allowed to grow. She's allowed to evolve. And just to see her with she had a little beef with the Jamaican runners, but then to see all of them take the picture, that's growth to me. And I love that. I love to see that picture. And I really just hope that they can create a bond and continue to uplift each other. And yes, I know it's a competition. I'm aware,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, we still Black women. We still got to support each other. We still got to
Mhm.
lift each other up. And so I'm just extremely proud of watching her grow before our eyes. I will say this. It was my other final thought. Speaking of which, that you mentioned, Serena Williams had another baby, and that to me that's very miraculous because we know that Serena Williams went through a whole lot through her first
Mhm.
pregnancy, only to
Mhm.
become a mother again. So there's some courage there when women have these babies and they not all of them almost die, but there's trauma in their childbirth that is very dangerous, and then they
Mhm.
decide to have more children. I don't have that type of courage. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would have been just one and done, or if I'm Serena Williams, I'm gonna find me a surrogate because I can afford one. But for
Right.
her to do it all over again is extremely courageous of her, and it speaks a lot about who she is, and she's always been a courageous person, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we know that,
Yeah.
but now in the motherhood stage of her courage is just amazing to watch. And so it appears that everything was good. And so her daughter is now a big sister, which is pretty dope. And it's dope to watch Serena now be a mom post tennis life. So congrats to her and her family.
Yes. Congrats. And I'm glad everything went smoothly.
Yeah, same for
Yeah.
sure. So we want to thank you all for listening. We appreciate you, and we will be back next week.
Later.